We're joined now by Tim Cullinan, the National Treasurer of the IFA and pig farmer from North Tipperary. Tim, thank you very much for coming into us.
You're welcome, Claire.
Tim, it's been a particularly tough year for pig farmers over the last 18 months or so. Now, price has picked up in the last couple of weeks. Down in Moneygall this week, the IFA held a meeting and you're calling for a specific upper limit to be put on price at the moment to continue the upwards trend. What is it you're looking for?
Absolutely. Look, I made a claim in Moneygall on Monday night, Claire, you're right. We had a packed room down there, and I believe that we need to get pig prices up to €2 a kilo. And I think it's more than justified at the moment, because if you look at where the European price has gone in the last number of weeks, it has climbed to 173 today, and we're at an average of 150 to 153 at the moment. There's a huge gap after rising there. And I suppose, look, I'm basing this on the back of what's happening in Asia at the moment, in particular in China, where there has been a huge loss of pigs on the ground in China due to African swine fever disease. Like, we're getting reports that there could be anything up to 13 to 15% of the national herd actually destroyed out there at the moment. And China produces 50% of the world pig meat. So if you put that in context, that's 6 to 7% of world production. And that's a massive decrease in production. Normally, if you get a 2% reduction, it makes a difference whether you have a boom or bust situation. So based on that, and based on what I'm hearing on the ground at the moment, that retailers and the food service sector are paying substantially more for the product they're getting at the moment. So look, everybody's getting a price increase. Like, we have received 10 cent of a price increase in the past number of weeks, but it's not enough to compensate. Because Claire, I think you're very well aware of where we're coming from. Like, last year was a disastrous year for pig farming. Farmers lost anything up to €14 per pig in the last year. And that came about because of low pig prices and also higher feed costs due to the weather situation in 2018.
Tim, because it's quite a serious situation. If you look at even at the numbers of pig farmers in Ireland at the moment, it's around 350. Obviously, there was a stage where there were thousands of pig farmers in Ireland, but in terms of the viability of the future of the sector, it is at quite a serious point at the moment.
You're right, Claire. Like, I remember when I was growing up, everybody had 5 to 10 sows in the backyard. But look, that system has changed. Pig farming in Ireland has become very commercial. But look, we've been losing farmers over the years, and we're at a juncture now, if we don't see a price increase, that we could lose more pig farmers and the industry would become unsustainable. But look, the fight is on. I mean, we've been fighting campaigns to maintain a pig industry in Ireland for a long number of years now. And if you just look at the figures, in 2009, approximately 30% of Irish pig meat was quality assured at retail level. So that was Irish pig meat was being sold at retail level. Today, because of campaigns we've ran over the years and the introduction of a DNA scheme back a number of years ago, that figure now is almost at 80%. So we've done a lot of work from a farmer point of view. We've done a lot of work to sustain and maintain the industry. So now, look, it's time for the industry, the processing side, to come on board now as well and help sustain the industry as well.
And could you have held quite a number of SNAP protests in supermarkets? People will be familiar over the last number of months, again, on the sourcing of the pig meat products in some of the in Super Value that was at the time. So you're keeping a very, very watchful eye on the supermarket shelves at the moment, and it is, I suppose, creating a lot of public awareness around the origins of our food. You're also interested, I believe, on the food service side, that you think that action is needed there in terms of when we go into just the local shops or in at the deli and you're ordering whatever meat you want in your sandwich, and where is that meat coming from as well?
Absolutely, Claire, you're right. We had a number of SNAP protests during last summer because of where the situation was then. And there was cheap Dutch pig meat coming into the country at that point in time. So we rectified that by highlighting it at retail level. And you're right, I think where we need to move to now is the food service sector. Because as you're aware, consumer trends have changed and a lot of people are eating on the go now. And there's a vast amount of our food, all foods, not just pig meat, you take lamb, beef, chicken, is being sold at the food service, deli counters. And I think we need to zone in on that and we need to check out the origin of that meat as well. And I think that's a job of work that we have started. You may have noticed that we were in Moneygall the other night, which is one of those food service outlets as well. And we are building a campaign around that at the moment.
And what will that campaign involve? What will it entail? Like specifically, what are you going to do to tackle that issue?
Where we will start out on a campaign is we will go and meet the individuals involved and explain to them the value of the Irish food sector, not just the pig sector, but our beef and our lamb and all our food sectors in Ireland, and explain to them, we need support, we need buy-in from everybody to use Irish pig meat, because obviously your best market, Claire, is your local market. It's the best return is on it. I know we export 90% of our beef, but if that, like every percent that we can get into the home market is a help.
And Tim, there's a lot of talk recently about the consumer trends on eating meat, and there is some concern that maybe people won't be eating as much meat into the future. And I suppose the trends in maybe towns and cities are bearing fruit on that. So is that a concern for yourselves, just the dietary habits that change, and people not consuming enough meat, as much meat into the future?
Look, Claire, I'm not a nutritionist, but the one thing I do know, everything eaten in proportion, we all need to eat meat. I think, look, people will always eat meat. I get very concerned when you see bodies that's not involved in the food industry commenting on what people should eat. I think
as on Taishke.
Absolutely on Taishke. I think that's not their remit. Like, there's lots of government agencies that do look at people's diet. In fairness, you have Borbia there that do an excellent job in promoting meat. And I think it should be left to the people involved.
Mm-hmm. But do you acknowledge, though, do you accept that the dietary habits may change, and you're obviously a representative of one of the farm organisations. Do the farm organisations need to maybe accept that the dietary habits may change as well into the future?
Look, as I said already, like the people's eating habits have changed over the years. Like the day of having your 3 or 4 meals at home around the kitchen table has changed. A lot of people, as I said, are eating on the go. Probably, look, the dietary habits will change, but I do believe people will still eat lots of dairy and meat products going forward. Absolutely.
Tim, just finally, I can't let you go without asking, there's some speculation out there that you may be in the running for the presidency of the IFA when the elections come around towards the end of the year. Are you interested in putting your hat in the ring for the national presidency?
The first thing I want to say is, look, I've been asked this question now on numerous occasions, and look, I am very busy in my position in IFA at the moment. I'm involved as National Treasurer, but I'm also involved at senior level in IFA. And if you look what's happening out there at the moment, we have a serious beef livestock crisis out there at the moment. And like, we don't know what news we're going to have before this week is out on the Brexit. So look, my energies are around those things at the moment. But yes, I am very interested in looking at the presidency going forward. But that's for later in the year.
Okay, sure. We'll follow up with you again on that, Tim. Thanks very much for coming in to us.